Imagine, if you will, a house made of glass. This is where you live, and everyone else lives in one of these too. Shoulder to shoulder, anyone can see anything that you do, from your most basic of tasks to your most interpersonal, intimate, and most shameful deeds. And a record is constantly being kept of these actions by people you don't know who were given authority that wasn't even voted on. Do any of these sound like favorable conditions to live in? No? Well, congratulations, you passed the intelligence test. If you failed, try again. 6 years ago, I made a couple of video essays talking about the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, COPA, and I voiced my concerns about it, in that, despite its name, it does a lot more damage than one would think. And it would seem that, right as I intend to come back to this channel to make more content, another act is brought into the scene that is even worse than the last. Combining this with all the issues I talked about in my last update video, life is really trying to test me right now. Our new enemy is called KOSA, the Kids Online Safety Act, or as I call it, KSA, because it is a curse upon us all. So what is it, and why is it a problem? Well, this act would basically enforce websites all across the internet to basically censor information and media concerning mature topics. And regarding YouTube itself, people in charge of it want to use their AI algorithms to search through everyone's search history and watch history to determine if you're 18 and up or not, regardless of how long your channel's been here or the content you yourself create. And if you actually are under 18, there will be some limitations to what you can do on the site, including playlist creation, customizable thumbnails, limits on how much you can post content, and unspecified content will be hidden from you. They're very vague about it, especially considering what does and doesn't violate their community guidelines.
And if you are 18 and above, these are the things that you will have to fork over in order to prove that you truly aren't a child. This is so backwards. Remember as a kid and people always tell you not to share your personal information with strangers on the internet? Whatever happened to that? Everything's all topsy-turvy now.
Although it would seem that videos that talk about this topic are not being recommended to many people, so if you managed to find this video, then I'm glad you made it, because there are many, many problems with this. For starters, if these lawmakers really cared about your children like they say they do, then they wouldn't even bother passing this law, because kids being on the internet is the responsibility of the parents, not the government. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, technology should not raise children, parents should. That's why you're here. You're here to make sure that your kid grows up to be the best they can be. Whether you care to admit it or not, these kids are the future. Implying it still exists in decades' time, the future president of the United States could be watching Cocomelon right now. By the way, I would not recommend that your kid watches that garbage content. It doesn't stimulate the mind in any way. And if you're a parent who's watching this, who does care deeply about their kid and limits their access to the internet, or even just keeps social media away from them entirely, then good for you. I hope your offspring grow to be intelligent individuals one day. But I fear for how they will learn in a society that limits information. What if, say, a student were to write an article about something dark, like war? How can they report on that if the information won't even be available? Because if they can't see it, we can't see it either. These laws aren't just about children, they're about censoring adults too. Look, I personally don't think kids belong on social media at all. Like, maybe not until they're at least teenagers, and even then, that's being super generous because teens do all sorts of stupid crap on the internet. No offense. Do I think that terrible things like war, abuse, addictions, murder, and rape are bad? Of course I do. But you can't solve an issue by making sure that nobody even knows about it. Not while there's still plenty of it going around, and not having a solution for it. We humans are problem-solving creatures, and we solve these problems by being better people, serving as a good example for others, helping those who are lost, and punishing the irredeemable. Or at least, that's how it would be in an ideal society, unlike this corrupt one we live in. Now I know, I was different. I started this YouTube account when I was 10 years old. See, YouTube, here's your facial recognition, I'm an adult now. But just because I am one doesn't mean that I can't have at least 1 ounce of whimsy in my life. YouTube hasn't entirely deemed what is and isn't for kids, but I have a feeling that it mostly involves cartoons. And newsflash, people, adults love cartoons! Animation is not just a genre, it's a medium. A medium of storytelling that can be enjoyed by anyone of any age. There are a great many cartoons I watched when I was little that I can enjoy even more as an adult because I can appreciate the effort that went into it. And sometimes even the jokes are funnier. And a lot of anime can be mature too. It allows for a broader range of storytelling that shouldn't be dismissed just because it's animated. And animation, of course, extends into the art of making video games. Animation can do things that live action just can't, and as an artist, I love that. I bet that these lawmakers never even watched a single cartoon or anime or played a single video game that they enjoyed. And the VTubers, what will happen to them, I wonder? Being forced to give away their personal information puts their identity at risk of being hacked and exposed. And a lot of VTubers want to keep their identities a secret, because you have no idea how many freaks out there would want to obtain the information non-consensually. It's a threat to us all, because where is that personal data gonna go? To no one trustworthy, I'm sure of it. I swear, it's all just a data mining scheme. And not only that, I think YouTube is gonna want people to all buy YouTube Premium for this too. Like, alright, we know you don't like the ads, and we need your ID, so hey, give us your credit card info. You can trust us with it. No, you can't actually. YouTube worked okay without all of this being implemented, so to the man in charge, if there is one and he's not a robot, I have this to say to you. Did you forget that YouTube Kids exists? That app that you so desperately tried to have kids go to instead of the main YouTube? Why aren't you pushing that forward? Did you just forget about it? I feel like it all kind of just collectively escaped our minds in this situation. I think I can speak for many when I also say that YouTube was much better when it was not owned by a corporation, when it was independently owned. Remember the good old days when your channels were much more customizable? Like, it felt like each channel belonged to an individual. The content was more earnest and true and easier to find. And there weren't bots spread everywhere, spreading all sorts of shady links in the comments section. Let's go back to those simpler times before all that shit came here. It was a much more peaceful time, one where you could truly broadcast yourself. Yeah, that slogan slipped your mind too, didn't it? So with all of that explained, you might be wondering, what can we do to stop this? Well, I guess one thing you can do is to be mindful of the content that you consume. Show the algorithm just how mature you are. And if there's a video you want to watch that might be considered for kids, perhaps try watching it while not logged in. And if you find it to be something that's very rewatchable, save the link in a Word document. Or download it perhaps. Or you can leave the site and use an alternative one, though I have a feeling that would be very difficult. Another countermeasure you could take is to contact your local state representative about this. Let them know that this bill, this act, should not be brought into our world. And hopefully they're not all evil shills who could be bought and sold by lobbyists. It's hard to trust anyone in this world these days. But if there's an aspect of humanity that I still believe in, it's the power of what we can do as a community. Let us not forget the great words of Caesar. Apes, together, strong! As long as we still have a voice to use, let's use it to our advantage. You see, the mainstream media, they aren't talking about this because they don't want you to know about it. They think that we'll just sit here and take it like good little boys and girls, and then we'll be compliant to these changes. But I say nay to that. And you want to know what's even worse? There's legislation much like this that's being passed in the United Kingdom and in Japan, all at the same time. It's a trilateral commission at work, y'all! Maybe that's where Collective Shout is getting their funding from. They're a huge component and supporter of these acts. They really want to censor video games, all because they got offended. So to all of you, you need to collectively shut the fuck up! I know this is a little bit of a short notice. I wanted to get this video out sooner. But as the Almighty told us, I declare a boycott on this site, starting August 13th. Let's show them what happens when they screw us over. The very people who, without us, this site would not exist. And if everything that I've said and done amounts to nothing, well, I can at least say that I tried. I don't know what the foreseeable future of this channel will be like. I don't know if I could foresee anything. I don't know, I might have to continue my content elsewhere. But I felt compelled to make this video to show you guys a truer, more real side of me. Not just the characters I play, which I do have fun doing, but this is me. The real me, right now. So, if you've made it up until this point, I thank you very much for watching this, and I appreciate your time. I hope this didn't come off as fear-mongering. I'm simply just making this for educational purposes, to offer insight and solutions. I mean, me, I just want to behold beautiful anime women, watch giant monsters do their thing, build my boncles, and...
Yeah, Iron Man!
Just overall enjoy my entertainment.
Flint and Steel!
Is that so much to ask for? And although news of this is not being spread out by the bigger content creators on this platform, there are many people who are talking about this issue. Ones who know more than I do. So, I'm embracing the power of the community. And you should too. And I believe it's through that kind of power that we will meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Gag reel, yeah!
Oh, wait a minute. I do have some other flush to it. Actually, no, hold on.